Hi, Jay Smith with Model Aviation Magazine at the AMA Expo, and I'm honored to be here with Bruce Jenner, who's going to answer.
Come on, it's not that big an honor.
It is. You've been
Is
on,
it really?
You were on my Wheaties box when
Yeah.
You were on my Wheaties box when I grew up.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm on it again now, which is even more amazing.
I was born in
I didn't
71.
screw it up. That's what I told them when they put me back on. Yeah.
There you go. Well, I started flying about the time you won in '76. It was about the time I started in model airplanes.
No way.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
dating yourself.
Well, that's okay.
It was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So I've got a few questions to ask you for
All
our
right,
magazine.
fire away.
The first one is, how did you get involved with model aviation?
Well, I have been involved in aviation for 37 years. I got started, learning, getting pilot's license, getting it. I have, 5,500 hours of flying time, flown everything, had a pits, flew aerobatics, flew myself everywhere. And then about 5 years ago, I sold the last plane I have and hadn't replaced it. I had an aviation company, we sold corporate jets, and so I've always had an interest in aviation. And then about 3 Christmases ago, my son, who's also a pilot and a helicopter pilot, he goes out and for Christmas buys me a little blade helicopter,
Right.
Wouldn't this be cute for Dad? So I got it. I thought, oh, look at that. Okay, so I get it out, charge up the battery, and say, oh my God, this thing is tough, And it was kind of like, I give the analogy, it was kind of like Bill Clinton, I didn't inhale.
Right.
It was kind of the beginning.
Right.
And so I after a while, I started figuring out, and then I could fly it around the house and think I'm pretty cool and fly it in the doorways. I think, I got this thing down. Decided to go to the hobby shop to get some more batteries. And I went, oh my God, there's bigger ones. And that was kind of the beginning. Now I have a complete Air Force. I've been doing it a little over 3 years now. And I've really enjoyed it. It's one of the more challenging things that you can pick up. I use the analogy, it's kind of like learning how to fly the RC helicopters. It's kind of like learning how to play the piano and sing at the same time. It's that difficult. I mean, you have to be so good at the piano that you don't have to think about it. The fingers just move and you can concentrate on the singing. It's the same thing with the helicopters. I find it one of the most challenging. I like learning skills. To me, that's fun.
Right.
I like learning things. And the RC helicopters are extraordinarily challenging, and it really keeps your interest because there's always new moves, new precision, it never ends, So that's for me, that's what I enjoy about it.
Did you learn it all on simulators, or did you go right to the helicopters?
Well, on the little helicopter they got me, I could do a 360. So I got this bigger one. I was probably about this big. When the blades speed up, thinking, man, this thing is a lot, So I take it out in the front lawn, and I'm hovering it and tail facing me and bring it out and back and left and right, keeping the tail facing me. And, I thought with the other one, I could do a 360. So I go like this. I start to turn it, and wham! It takes off across the yard, bam! Right into a tree. And I went, oh, man. I just totally lost it. And I thought at that point, you know what, I better get the simulator. So I got the simulator, and I use the simulator a lot for all new tricks, everything. With the helicopters, you have to.
Right.
And so, I'm a big simulator guy. Yeah.
So we were talking about before we got on camera that you just do helicopters. You don't do airplanes or cars or anything else?
I find the helicopters, the most challenging from a pilot standpoint. And there's so much you can do with them. That it really keeps your interest. And, I've gotten to fly with some really great guys, and, they inspire you to kind of keep working on it because it does take years and years. But, I look at it as, 5 years from now, I'll still be challenged by it. There'll still be new things to do and new precision and, all that kind of stuff. So that's what keeps my interest.
Outside of flying helicopters, what other hobbies do you participate in?
Raising children.
That's a full-time hobby.
That's a full-time hobby. No, I don't have. The only other thing I really work on is the golf game. I play golf every day. I try to if I'm not working, and I try to hit a lot of balls. And again, that's another skill game. And it's just hard to get good at golf. It's just as hard as getting good at the helicopters, And again, it's a skill that I enjoy and keep working on. So when I'm not working, that fills up my day. I fly helicopters, try to fly every morning, at least 8 flights. And then in the afternoon, I work on my golf game.
Well, that sounds like a good day.
Life, doesn't it?
That's a good day.
Yeah. And I didn't chase down my kids. Yeah.
Bruce, who or what would you say has influenced you most over your lifetime?
Ooh, there's been a lot of people. Obviously, your family, my parents, my dad. Obviously, they had a big impact growing up, the type of person that you are. And then throughout the years, I've had a couple of people who have really had an impact. A guy named L.D. Weldon, who was the guy who recruited me to go to college. I wound up getting recruited to play football and only lasted a year and had to have knee surgery. But he was also the track coach there at this little tiny school called Graceland College in Lamoni, Iowa, in the middle of nowhere. And LD had a big impact on me. If you have a son from the age of 18 to 22, you would want him around an LD Weldon. He was a great guy, great character, great wisdom. He was 65 at the time. And just a really great human being, and he got me started in the decathlon, and in those formative years, he had a very big impact.
One of the things I thought our readers would be curious about is, I mean, obviously you've been involved in a lot. You've been involved in the decathlon. You've been in TV and movies. You've been a race car driver.
Yeah, I've done that. What else you want? Yeah, I've done that too. Probably.
You've done it all. So looking back, I mean, what would you say you're most proud of? Out of all the things you've accomplished?
All the things I've done is raising kids. I have 10 children. That's your biggest job in life, is raising your kids. We've been very blessed. We have now 4 grandchildren, got the 5th one on the way. We've been very blessed. That is by far the most difficult thing. It's harder than flying RC helicopters.
Right.
It's harder than pirouettes, or pyro flips, or doing any of that kind of stuff. That's constant work throughout your life. And I've been extraordinarily blessed with great kids. I've not had any problems with them. There's no drug problems, drinking problems, a few relationship problems that we're working on, but
Right.
We're working on those things. And but I've been very blessed. I got great, hardworking, smart kids. So I mean, that's your greatest accomplishment in life.
Have any of your kids gravitated towards this at all? Do they think it's interesting?
You know what? I got one that I gave. I had an extra. I got a whole bunch of helicopters. I got a good little Air Force. And so I had one Nitro 600 that my son, who was really good on the computer, but he was like big chicken when it came to actually flying it,
Sure.
which a lot of people do. And I got him into it. He got pretty damn good. He could go, do sideways stuff, this and that. But he started his own business, and he's just been swamped by that. He's in the dog business.
Oh, okay.
And but I was very proud of him. The other day, he just went out and bought the dog business is very good to him, and he went out and bought a Arctic Cat, the Wildcat. They have these new sport off-road machines, and he's going to race it. And he's he bought it himself. He bought the trailer. He did a great job, and I was really proud of him. In fact, as soon as this is over with, it's his first test run is today over in Azusa. So as soon as we're done here, I'm going to go see how it goes and help him out a little bit.
Well, I really appreciate you coming here to the AMA Expo and speaking to members, and we appreciate you being a member and supporting the hobby. Obviously, we see you flying helicopters on the Keeping Up with the Kardashians show.
Yeah, we're trying to get more of it this year. We start again in, I think, February 15th. We try to get it in there. And, because it is for me. It's a big part of my life. But, we all have wives, and we have to deal with them when it comes to this, the hobby stuff. And I do my best to deal with it. Yeah. But the Air Force is in good shape. Actually, my wife, I have to thank her for Christmas, made it okay for me to build the new Goblin 770 with just a badass.
That's amazing helicopter.
Yeah, with the big motor, the 14-cell system. It's a beast. In fact, Tim Jones took it out the other day and flew it so hard that he burned up one of my batteries. I'm charging you for it, Tim.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Pleasure.